Greetings everyone. First, I must apologize for my prolonged absence. There were issues at hand that required my attention, but now they've been handled, so to speak. So Judgespektre has returned, and now I move on to Legaia 2 Dual Saga, the next buried treasures. This was the PlayStation 2 sequel to Legaia, Legend of Legaia rather, and it was pretty much overlooked by most people, and after playing it, I have to say that I view it much the same way that I view the original. I felt that this game was pretty unjustly cast aside. One thing that's strikingly different about it is the fact that it really doesn't follow the first game at all, even though it has the title 2 in it, Legaia 2. It's not a sequel. It takes place in a completely different world, I would imagine. And this caused many fans of the original to shun it, but I have to say that I found that rather refreshing, rather than trying to force a sequel out of a story which wrapped itself up pretty nicely by the end of the first game. They decided to just do a completely original one, which is cool. Now the battle system from Legend of Legaia returns in Legaia 2 with the TAS system, which is more or less the same thing. There's very little difference. I mean, the magical system has been redone, so you no longer fight monsters for magic spells. You only have one to start out with, and it upgrades as you gain levels. There are many other small things in this game that have added, such as camping, and while you're camping you can combine items to make new weapons and armor, and also cook, which foods you cook will give you temporary bonuses to your abilities or may hinder some abilities while increasing others. So you always got to try to find out which is the most beneficial for any given situation. The soundtrack for the game is mostly recycled tracks from the first game, but there is some original stuff in there. Overall, it was nice to hear some of my favorite tracks from the first game, but I wish that there had been more original music. And also another thing that's different from the first game compared to this one is the fact that this game is quite a bit more difficult than the original. Now I calculated that I finished the original game at around level 37 to 38, which was cutting it pretty close, but I did. And in this game, I'd say you'd have to be in your upper 60s to have a chance of finishing this game successfully, and even that's pushing it. The regular enemies will own you if you're not careful. And so, while that may not necessarily be a big thing, it may scare away some gamers that aren't too attuned to RPGs. This game, as I just said, has a little bit of a learning curve, so you might want to prepare for that. All in all, I'd have to say that this is probably less than the first game in my opinion, but it's still a really good game, and sadly, this is probably the end of the Legaia series. Which to me is unfortunate, because I always thought the series was pretty good, 1 and 2, even though 2 was a little bit lesser than the first one, as I just said. I thought it was good and had great potential, but that's how things roll. I mean, I hold out hope, but with each passing year, the likelihood of another Legaia game being made is dwindling, I would say. But Legaia 1 and 2 are both great games, and if you have the opportunity to buy either of them, I would highly recommend it. You could probably find Legaia 2 used in GameStop somewhere for probably $4 or $5, but Legaia 1 you'd probably have to order it off eBay or buy it at a specialty shop. But in any case, I'd say it's worth it. And that's pretty much all I have to say on this underrated series. Be sure to tune in next time for my next Buried Treasures video, The Thing.